Hey, how's it going? Mr. Deadman of Rant and Chill here. And let me ask you guys and ladies a pretty simple question. Is it realistic for people working minimum wage jobs full time to be able to afford a 2-bedroom home or 2-bedroom apartment? Is that realistic? Is that a real expectation? 2 bedrooms. No, that is not a real expectation, right? And if you say otherwise, I have some questions. Maybe you think it should be. And then I have other questions like, how would you even make that happen without forcing redistribution of wealth? How are you going to do that? How are you supposed to do that? Anyway, the reason we're talking about this is because I was looking at this article here that kind of frames this in a negative light, as if people should be able to afford a 2-bedroom apartment or 2-bedroom home on just the minimum wage. That is some wage there. That is something. If $7 an hour could do that, $15 an hour could do that, I don't think so. Okay, I'm gonna read a little bit of this and we'll get into it. So it goes here. People working minimum wage jobs full time cannot afford a 2-bedroom apartment in any state in the country. The National Low Income Housing Coalition annual's out of reach report finds. In 93% of the U.S. counties, the same workers can't afford a modest 1-bedroom. A modest one. What do you mean by modest? Look, I was born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s. I have never experienced the minimum wage to be a living wage. Now, people will tell you in the 1930s, 1938, when Roosevelt passed or implemented the minimum wage, that it was intended to be a living wage. I suppose so. I guess so. But that ship has long sailed. Let me ask you, was the minimum wage a living wage in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s? I mean, I don't think so. A minimum wage family in the 80s and 90s, where were they living? If both parents were making minimum wage and that was it, where were they living? They weren't living in a modest home, whatever you mean by that. They're probably living in a trailer or an apartment. Or maybe they were living in a house that they I guess obtained through inheritance or something. It wasn't even that much of a living wage then. It definitely isn't now with inflation. The price is going up, price of rent going up, and that's not ever going to come back down. That's not going to go in the other direction. No. Things are just going up. Let's be realistic about this. Let's be real. We could be all. Let me answer for those who say it should be real fast. We could be all pipe dreaming all we want and say that minimum wage should be a living wage, but the moment you start making the minimum wage higher than what companies want to pay, they lay people off. And that's been shown. Where like in areas where McDonald's has to pay $15 an hour, what happens? Well, they reduce their staff, or they just replace them with automation. Because why do they need to pay you plus benefits and whatever, and then when they could just have a machine do it? There you go. So then that's the reality of the situation. That's what happens. But here's the thing: when I read this, I don't want to be mean. I don't mean to be mean by this. Some people might say I sound like, I don't know, like I'm looking down upon those or just making minimum wage. I get it. Work is tough. Earning your way can be very hard, but it's not impossible. And if you're like in your 30s and 40s and you're still making minimum wage, I have some serious questions for you about how, like, what decisions did you make in your life to only be making minimum wage in your 30s and 40s. Everyone's story is a little bit different, but I would imagine it kind of is similar in a little bit. You start working as soon as you can work to make money for yourself, to be able to afford things. So like 15, 16, okay. So you start working then. And you start, maybe when your first job is going to be minimum wage. And then, okay, you work there for a little bit, maybe get some overtime. Maybe they give you a pay raise, some change or whatever, but you're not going to stay there if they're just paying you minimum wage. You're going to go to the other place. I started off Wendy's, made minimum wage, and then as soon as I heard Whataburger across the street paid $9 an hour, I went there. Okay, we'll go there. Boom, bounce. And then And I'm imagine it very similar for other people. Like, you're not going to stay at the minimum paying job. You're going to find the place that's going to pay you more, pay you what you want, what you feel like you deserve. And when you go to these job interviews, you say, when they ask you how much, when they ask you how much you want to be paid, you give them a ridiculous amount, so that way you bring it down to the amount that you're wanting. If you're wanting $10 an hour, you'd be like, I was actually thinking 11. Oh, we don't do 11 here. Okay. Well, what about like 10:30? No. All right, 10. Okay, 10's work. Something like that, where you try to meet them. I mean, if your qualifications are good, and the boss is liking what they read from you on the resume application. We're talking about low entry jobs. There is no resume. There's just applications and luck and skill. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff in that. But going back to this, I don't see this as a realistic expectation for anyone working minimum wage to be able to afford a 2-bedroom apartment or 2-bedroom house. That is a pipe dream. Even for me, like, if it was minimum wage, oh yeah, you're getting a roommate. You're not living by yourself. One person living in a 2-bedroom apartment, oh, that's a waste of a bedroom. What? Oh, that's too fancy. Oh, you're too fancy. You're gonna need a roommate. That's realistic. What you're probably gonna have. You're probably gonna have a roommate, maybe even 2 roommates. And then there's people that live together as a couple. Oh, that could be good until things fall apart in the relationship. But when that works, their income is combined a little bit. We're both paying rent, and then that's it. Or both going half on rent and going half on electricity or utilities. Okay, you make it work. What world in America has it ever been realistic for one person to be able to afford a 2-bedroom apartment? Like, in recent time, like in the 80s and 90s. I mean, come on. I don't see it. I don't see it possible. And I really don't see that trend changing anytime soon. People could have expectations as much as they want. You could have these pipe dreams as much as you want, but they're not going to come true. Just some things. Look at the way things are going. Cost of living is going way up high. It's not coming down. It's not crashing down anytime soon. Okay. So what? I mean, I don't see that changing. I just don't see that changing at all. And the way this article frames it in a negative light, like I said. And the information is coming from this place, out of reach, where it shows the various states and how much you need to make to have to be able to afford a 2-bedroom apartment, a 2-bedroom rental home. Okay. I live in Texas. That's reference Texas. So you need about $21.98, earn that per hour, to be able to afford a living or a 2-bedroom home. Okay. And what they're saying with that is, with earning that amount, only about 30% of your income would go towards rent, and you'd be able to live off the rest of that. That sounds dreamy. Where someone who's married and has 2 kids, boy, after the mortgage and after daycare, oh boy, how much do I have left? Kids are a whole other thing. But anyway, $21.98. I mean, if you're making $9 an hour, which honestly, that's minimum. I mean, you could work at a call center for like $12 an hour, $15 an hour. Call centers are horrible for your health too, but mental health. But if you don't like that, you can go work in the oil fields. You could go be a scaffolding guy. I mean, you could work if you want to work and get overtime and make your way. And you're living with somebody, I mean, your income increases. So you could easily do that. You can make more than $21.98 per hour. You could do that. If you would afford it by yourself, live by your own in a 2-bedroom home, okay, that's not realistic. You might want to just go with a 1-bedroom, or get a studio, or make friends, find a roommate. I could tell you. I'm not gonna tell you. Now, I'm very curious what people are going to say about this in the comment section, because I'm sure some people are going to say that, it should be affordable. And my reply is, like I've been saying here, is how is that even possible? How's that even possible? You think even communist utopia societies, they're giving out nice, modest homes for even the low income earners? What? It's not happening. That's not happening. Get what you get. You get what the government gives you. At least here you could try to earn more. I know it's hard. I'm not trying to belittle that, but it's possible. And I've been through it. I'm still going through it. Shit. Anyway, let me know what you think about this. I'm curious what you think. And y'all take it easy. Have a good one.